Hello friends, and welcome to MTG River King. Welcome to the first episode of Uncommonly Common. This series looks at the top uncommons and commons of the latest released Magic the Gathering set from a Commander format point of view. Now the Double Master set had just arrived and it brought a lot of good reprints, but today we are going to look at the top 10 uncommons / commons, ranking them according to my point of view. However, before we dig into the list, I'd like to mention a few cards that are definitely amongst the top uncommons and commons of the set, but did not include in my list due to various reasons, which I will explain as we show the cards. So without further ado, Basalt Monolith, Path to Exile, and Lightning Greaves. There's no doubt that both Path to Exile and Lightning Greaves are amongst the top Commander cards, however, that also made their price a little bit out of my budget, as I generally build budget decks. If, however, I manage to pull them off from a booster pack, then I'll definitely include them in my decks. Basalt Monolith is also very good, but I generally build focused level decks with less, if not at all, infinite combo possibilities. Now Crop Rotation and Expedition Map are both fantastic cards, but not included in my top 10 list, as I don't really play lands like Cabal Coffers or Orbug and the likes. Now let's jump into my top 10 Double Masters uncommons / commons reprints. At number 10, we have the lands Ash Barrens and Buried Ruin. As a budget player, Ash Barrens is an amazing mana fixing card, and Buried Ruin is also an amazing card, which now costs under £1. At number 9, we have Welding Jar. Now, a 0 CMC artifact with 0 mana ability activation cost that allows you to regenerate any artifact creatures, any artifacts. Also, thanks to Double Masters reprint, the price of this card has now gone under £1. At number 8, we have Pongifi. Now Pongifi is a solid single target removal, especially with it being blue. At number 7, we have Reclamation Sage. This card is so good, it's budget, it's a body on the battlefield, and it's a single target removal with potential graveyard replayability. So all in all, a very solid card. At number 6, we have Crib Swap. Now in my opinion, an underrated card. Fair enough, it's limited to creatures only, but the fact that it exiles more than makes up for it, as it can remove creatures with Indestructible from the game. I have this in my Depala deck, and you can put this card in your hand using Depala's ability, as technically Crib Swap is a dwarf, thanks to its Changeling ability. Now at number 5, we have Death Rip Ritual, a solid card draw option in the right deck. At number 4, we have Cranial Plating. Now in my opinion, if not the best, is one of the best equipment card for budget Voltron strategy. Cranial Plating's activated ability that allows you to attach it to the target creature by paying 2 black mana is so good. Now if you're not aware of this, equip ability can only be used at sorcery speed, so having that activated ability means you can equip or unequip Cranial Plating at instant speed. At number 3, we have Dread Return. Graveyard is like a second library when you're playing Commander, and this card is so good as it lets you return any creature back to the battlefield from your graveyard at the cost of 4 mana. Now most cards that have this effect cost around 5 mana if we are talking about budget decks. Also, this card is now only cost under £1. At number 2, we have Everflowing Chalice. It can be played as a 2-drop mana ramp, which comes into play untapped, or a 10 mana ramp which taps for 5 mana. Everflowing Chalice's flexibility has earned it the number 2 spot. A mana ramp that costs 2 to cast is considered the best in the format, so cards like the Signets and the Talismans are so good because of this. But what happens if you drew them late game, where you already have 10 lands on the battlefield? This is where Everflowing Chalice shines. If you drew it late game and you don't have anything else to play, then you can pay the kicker cost multiple times, allowing you to have Everflowing Chalice taps for more mana. And the number 1 spot goes to Obliette. Now I know Obliette is not a budget card currently, but I'm hoping that the price of this card would go down as it has been reprinted as an uncommon and not a rare. Now Obliette is just so good as it can trap creatures, including commanders, as long as it is in play. Obliette phases out ability is different from exile. Now for example, if a commander that your opponent controls was targeted by Obliette, then that card does not go into exile zone or to the graveyard zone, it just phases out. Therefore your opponent cannot choose to put their commander to the command zone as the card did not reach both exile or the graveyard zones. So there are my top 10 Double Masters uncommon/common reprints. The price of the cards are true at the time of the recording of this video. So now go down to your LGS and pick up some copies of those cards. Thank you friends for watching. This is Ray of MTG River King signing off.